All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Puck Rock Rangers. I am Stefan. This is Palmer. And as always, we have a fun episode for you guys. So let's get into it. All right, so we got some things to talk about in the Rangers world of hockey. But before we do that, we're going to do what we always do and just kind of tell you what's been going on with us in our personal lives, how things have been going. I know last episode you said that it's kind of been a shitty year. Not a shitty year, but just not a great year. Anything going better, looking better at all?
Things are looking better, and the year itself has not been all bad. Obviously, there's been some good, but yeah, just a little bit, of some stuff we got through. I alluded to in earlier episodes. Lost a dog in the same week, got a puppy, so my summer has basically been spoken for between caring for dogs. So labor of love, that's why we do it. But as far as what's going on, yeah, things are looking up. Probably at the top of that list is my band Coded is actually forming. Like we've added two guitars, we're talking to a couple bassists. So quickly have gone from a two-piece basement project to a legit five-piece.
Sweet.
Yeah, and that's a different dynamic. Bringing in some talented guys with a little bit of different background. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes. Besides that, just on the personal level, hanging with the new pup Bojack. For anyone who cares, he's on Instagram, Bojack GD Dogface. If you want to check him out and kind of follow us,
He's
raising him,
cute.
raising him up, and
He is cute.
he is. I'm trying
He's a
not to be
cutie.
biased. Objectively, he is very cute. So,
Yes.
had my tattoo appointment with Stefan here. Uh, dog related, lots of dog stuff. Got the Jobin memorial piece on my side. And then a show I went to this weekend. Wanted to shout out some bands, man, and shout out the Warehouse. That's a DIY spot here in Richmond. Great spot. Always putting on dope shows, and the energy, man, of this show is insane. I don't know if you saw that reel I posted or that video. That was just a little sample, man. There were people jumping all over. It was fucking wild. But headline was Naysayer, Richmond hardcore OGs. I mean, they've literally been doing it since like the year I graduated high school, so that's pretty insane. And Wasted Space right here from Richmond. It was actually their last show. I've had the pleasure of booking these guys at least once or twice. Great band. Every couple of years, there's like a new crop of bands that comes around in the scene, especially in hardcore. And they were definitely on that front run of like post COVID hardcore bands in Richmond. So shout out to them. Killing Pace also played. I've seen them twice at the Warehouse now in about a month, and a band called Stockpile didn't catch them as I got there a little bit late, but dope show, and yeah, things are definitely looking up. What's going on with your summer? How's things going with you?
A whole lot of the same old, same old. Nothing really out of the ordinary, crazy to share on. Um, I had a nice weekend. Megan, she took the girls and they went to the beach. I had a little bit of me time. That was nice. I got some fishing in and just kind of hung out, did some things around the house that's a little bit harder to do sometimes when you're a busy man like me. Um, as you all know, I'm a tattoo artist, and sometimes you're the canvas, sometimes you're the artist, sometimes you're the canvas. I also got a new tattoo, and I'm gonna kind of flex it for you. I don't know if you guys can
It
see
looks yeah,
that.
it's coming through pretty good. That's a dope gator.
It's just a
It's got some American style
roar.
traditional. It's also got a little bit of Japanese influence to it. So yeah, that's a dope tattoo for sure.
Yeah, I get my work done by a guy named Joe. He owns Yellowbird in the city, and he just has like a real Americanized Japanese traditional style, and I really like it. So I got my back, my leg, and now my head. And in a couple weeks, I actually have another appointment to get the other side done. And I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm getting because it's going to be a surprise. Um, so I got that done. Had some time. Things are going good for me. Uh, I got to watch the HT40 game. I think Palmer said he didn't really get to tune in too much. Um, it was a good game. The team with all the Rangers on it got absolutely pumped, but we're not going to get too into that because Palmer didn't watch much of it. But it was good to see a little bit of hockey, even if it was all just shits and giggles. And yeah, life's good, and I'm happy. And we're gonna segue to something that we've never done on this show before, and that is me and Palmer both brought something for show and tell. So I'll just go first since I'm already talking. This is something that my Dukes got me, and she got it. She got it for me for Father's Day, just because she thought it would be cool. And I can't lie, it is pretty cool. This is the National Hockey League book. As you see, Wayne Gretzky is on the front of it. It has a lot of stuff about the original six, so there's plenty of Ranger stuff in there. A lot of stuff about the Oilers, a lot of the greats. So
And it looks older, so
yeah, it is older.
there's teams that are featured in there that are no longer around, and there's also teams that are playing now that aren't around yet.
Edward F. Dolan Jr.
No relation to James Dolan.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. But yeah, so that's my show and tell. It's a cool book. Like any page you flip into it, a lot of pictures. There's random. You can see a lot of Canadians in there, but
Old time
the
hockey.
further you get in, there's some Ranger stuff and some just other things. So it's a cool book, and thank you, Mom, for getting it for me. I love it. So that's my show and tell. What did you bring to show, Palmer?
So I brought some swag we got for the pup, and we will definitely post pictures eventually of the pup wearing it. But I did want to bring it in for show and tell today. So we got a home and away little bandana for the boy,
Sweet.
and also I'm gonna try to. It's got the plastic, so it might not come through great with the cameras here.
Fresh.
But this thing is, it's basically a puppy onesie.
Yeah, go ahead
So
and angle it. So
yeah, I think they can get the gist. It's the
no, it's
Rangers
sick.
logo. It's got the date on the top. This is the centennial season, so it's a pretty cool piece
It
right
looks like
here.
something he can grow into.
Yeah, hopefully he can grow into it, and we can maybe pass it along to a little Ranger dog, Ranger fan dog down the line. But yeah, that's the show and tell segment. Just some cool stuff we wanted to share with you guys. Like I said, I'll,
Yeah,
I'll try to get Bojack or some pictures of him posted wearing the Rangers swag. But let's get into Rangers stuff.
cool. Yeah, and as always, I'm pretty unprepared, and Palmer, he's a little bit more prepared, so he's gonna lead the way. I'm just gonna give my 2 cents like it matters. So yeah, let's get into some Ranger stuff.
Let's get into it. So I wanted to start with the season, or the schedule, I should say. The schedule was announced a couple weeks ago for all the NHL teams, and I've had a couple weeks to look at it and think on kind of what stood out. And for the most part, it is what it is. It's a series of games, right? But there are some things that stand out, and one thing I wanted to highlight is the strong start that is needed. The Rangers must start strong, and I'm not necessarily talking about the same kind of strong start last year where you start strong and then you peter off. I mean, they need to start strong and keep it going. But the first 5 games I thought was interesting. They opened the season home versus Pittsburgh Penguins. Excuse
Same as
me,
last year.
same as last year. Then they
Remember how
go
that game went?
I do, and
What
I
was it,
remember
six
it was
zero?
6-0, and I remember thinking, "Oh, the boys are back. Here we go."
Yeah.
Well,
What a what a jerk off we are.
yeah, no doubt. So they follow that up. They travel to Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, they travel to Buffalo, and then they do travel to Pittsburgh for Game 3. Then they're home versus Washington and home versus Edmonton. So that's the first 5 games. That's some tough, in division matchups against some good teams. You got Edmonton in there. That's Edmonton always plays the Rangers tough. Um, then something else that stood out to me about the season, there's the All-Star break in February, and the Rangers have a kind of a unique situation where they don't play like the whole week. They play one game in the week leading up to that break. So it ends up, I counted on the calendar, it ends up being one game in 25 nights or days. And that's only for the guys that are playing the Olympics will go on and do that. If I said All-Star break, I meant Olympic break. Sorry,
Yeah,
Olympic break.
yeah, because the Olympics. Yeah,
So Olympic break. So the guys that will be playing in Italy will be doing that. The guys that won't will be chilling. But the Rangers got to take advantage of this extra time. I looked at the schedule, and not every team is as fortunate. There's a lot of teams that are playing 2, 3, games that week. So the Rangers, play that one game, but largely have about 3 weeks off. So that's huge for them. And I'll wrap up my thoughts on the season. But something else that stood out was the Rangers don't play the Devils until March 7th. And then they play them 2 other times in March. So all 3 times we play the Devils is in March. March is going to be a fun month if the Rangers are playing worth a shit. If they play anything like they did last year, March is going to be very unfun.
I'll be on Running with the Devils podcast. I'll be trolling a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I haven't.
Ace over at Running with the Devils. He's a fun podcast to get on if
Yeah.
you're a Rangers
Yeah.
fan.
No. Sure.
All the people, everybody else hates you, but he's cool with you if you're cool with him.
Yeah,
So
if you don't, I mean, if you go in there being an asshole and start trolling shit, he's gonna shut you down. But if you go in there and just kind of speak your piece and talk your shit, he's here for it. So shout out Ace. If you want to check out any kind of Devils content, I even catch myself going in their post games sometimes just to kind of hear Devils fans cry after losses. And
yeah, or after a win, like I just enjoy being
yeah,
on his stream because it's a fun time.
yeah, there's a couple non-Ranger guys shout out Flying Fluffy too.
Oh yeah,
I like
with
him
the
a lot.
Panthers.
There's some non-Ranger guys I'm into, but what do you have any thoughts on the season other than just looking forward to it?
Yeah, I know that the preseason's not really too important, but if you look at the 23-24 season, I remember that in that preseason we went 1-5. We lost 5 out of the 6 games, and then we went on in the regular season and absolutely crushed the rest of the league. And then last year, I know it was a little bit more even. I think it was like 2-4 or something. I can't remember the exact numbers last year, but then we absolutely stunk through the regular season. I'd like to see us go 0-6 in the preseason just because it doesn't matter, and if that means we're going to play better in the regular season, I'd like to see that happen. So, yeah.
That's an interesting take. I don't think it's an exact science like that. I think
It's about as accurate as astrology.
you want to see the battles for positions, and
That's my astrology right there.
I know how much you love astrology.
Oh, big time. Sagittarius.
So all right, so we'll move along before Stefan goes down that wormhole. You got to check out his private channel for
I'm
that.
not religious. I'm spiritual.
I would
Uh,
actually, I'll agree to that. New York Rangers captaincy. It's almost like we have to bring it up because it's a Rangers pod. This is not a topic that really interests me. I'll be honest. I know this is terrible podcasting right now, but what do you think about this? Do you have any thoughts? Is
yeah,
there
Vincent Trocheck.
Vince?
I mean, you just seen this week he come out with a quote and said, "I'm not here." What did he say? "I'm not here to just play hockey. I'm here to lead the offensive line to get a cup." Like that was not verbatim,
Paraphrasing,
but
yeah.
paraphrasing. He said he's here to lead the offensive line and lead this team to win a Stanley Cup. I don't think someone who's not leadership captain material is going to say something like that. So
Yeah, Trocheck has shown signs. It's to me, it's him or JT, or you don't pick anyone and you just kind of see what happens. But I don't really have a hill to die on really with it. I would almost rather them take the approach of wait and see if they're not sure and the team's not kind of united on it. So um, another thing I wanted to get into, and this is going to be a shorter episode, guys. So I appreciate you sticking with us through the heat of summer and the off season. It's going to start heating up soon, though. We're within, I think, like the 50s as far as days left until the boys are on the ice again. But I wanted to ask you about Igor. Igor is um, polarizing, to say the least, over the last couple of years between the contract negotiations and the up and down play and the midseason mental resets that he seems to need. What do you think about Igor going into this season? Do you see a bounce back? Do you see a regression? What do you think?
I don't even see a need for a bounce back. I think Igor had a great season last year. Yeah, I mean, there was a few fluky goals that went in, but if you look at the statistics, saves above percentage, he was one of the top goalies in the league in that statistic. And I mean, I don't care if you were the best goalie. I don't care if you're the Connor McDavid of goalies. If you had a team like the Rangers last season, defensively playing the way they played in front of you, you're not gonna be able to save the day. You're not gonna be able to put the entire team on your back. Yeah, you can still win here and there, but it's just not a thing. You're not able to do it. The defense was so horrible that they hung him out to dry just about every single night. But like I said, when you go back and look at the stats, he was solid. He was a solid goalie. Do I love the contract? No, I don't love the contract. I think maybe like 11 or 10 would have been a little bit better. But yeah, Igor's a solid goalie. I'm hoping he has a team in front of him that has the will to live and that can give him a fighting chance at maybe another crack at the Vesna. That'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, as far as bounce back, I don't even see the need for that. What do you think?
I think he does bounce back, and I agree with you that had a pretty good season. I would not say great. I would say that, but he no one was great. I mean, no one. Will Cooley had a good season, and I love Will Cooley, but like I don't even think you can look at that and say it was great. I think great would have been 30. So no one on this team was great. And the Rangers have been power play merchants. They've been relying on Igor the last couple seasons. They've almost been winning against what should happen, against better logic and spite themselves. And it finally caught up to them. I do see Igor bouncing back. I think he's too good of a goalie to just kind of lose his touch. Not that he ever, not that I think he lost his touch, but just to kind of be a middling, average by the numbers goalie. Until you start digging deeper and you see how dog shit the team played in front of him. That's when the statistic or the analytics come in, where you can't just look at the baseline surface numbers. And I'm not a huge analytics guy, but it kind of tells the story of shots, against expected and volume and high danger chances. The Rangers were giving that up boatloads. I mean, last season was not fun. I mean, we don't have to go back into that. I made a post on our page that I was watching highlights from 23-24. Seriously, I
Yeah,
cannot bring myself, short of the Will Cooley hit on Petrangelo and a couple other things. There really were not a lot of highlights from this season. It was a ho hum, woe is me, bullshit ass year. So in general, the Rangers got to be better, and I think Igor will be better, and I'm expecting a bounce back.
yeah. I remember one of our earlier episodes. We did a segment where we named our favorite moment of the previous season or the season that just ended. And I mentioned that my favorite moment was when we were playing the Dallas Stars. They went up 1-0 early in the game. The whole rest of the game, nothing, no score. It just stayed 1-0 until Keandre Miller, with like a fraction of a second in the third period, hit a buzzer beater and scored. And then we go into overtime, and Adam Fox buries it with that scramble in front of the net. And just yesterday on my Instagram reel, I seen a reel pop up where it was that showed back up, and it was some guy who probably feels the exact same way as us, like crying in memory of the season that we got to enjoy after a season that was not enjoyable at all. So yeah, I relived that season. I relive moments of that season all the time now.
Yeah, yeah. Last season, man, it's really just one that we'll all have to kind of just leave behind us and try not to think about it too much. We're gonna wrap this episode up in a little bit. This I told you guys it would be a shorter one. Look, we're kind of, because of our own scheduling thing, we're kind of late to the punch here in some news, so we're not gonna rehash everything that's gone on. You guys are pretty well connected,
Hmm.
and we're gonna eventually get back into kind of our more consistent scheduling as the season creeps up on us. But I had a fun segment, and we're gonna squirm through this together because I'm not prepared for this. I don't really even know what I was thinking, what my answer is gonna be. But let's see where this goes. We're
Ish.
doing start, bench, cut, and this is the kid line version. Now we're not bringing it back in time. We're talking about the new kid line. Should it be even become a line? But the kids: Gabe, Berard, and Offman. And I'm gonna let you go first. Where are you at? Start, bench, and cut.
For me, the obvious one is the cut. Um, the start and the bench is not as clear. Um,
To me, none of them are
Me,
obvious.
I'm gonna cut Othman, um, solely off the fact that um, he had a good little sample size last season, and even though nobody was doing anything, he didn't register not 1 point,
Yeah,
not one assist, not one goal. And he had what, like 14 games played or something like that, like a handful of games played. It wasn't like he got 1 or 2 games and they sent him back down to the AHL. He had a good handful of games and did absolutely nothing for the team as far as getting on the board and generating offense. So that's the easy one for me, the cut for Othman. Now, the one that's difficult is Gabe Perreault and Brett Berard. Like, I'm gonna say, my goodness, like I'm gonna say bench. I'm gonna say bench uh, Perreault. I'm gonna say bench Perreault because I think he's just a little younger. And Berard, he's a water bug. When he was out there last year, he did generate offense. Like he was all over the place. He's fast. Um, he's not a wimp. He gets in the dirty areas. I mean, he's not like a big burly tough guy, but he wasn't looking over his shoulder the whole game either. And he did pot a few really nice goals. So um, I'm gonna say for now that's my answer because Perot seems like he's just cut from a different cloth. Like he's if you watch the what was it, the national the U20
World
the
Juniors was.
IIHF tournaments where he was in them. Perot was one of the top dogs on those teams. He was
Yeah,
right up there with
he was on that top
uh,
line with Ryan Leonard and
Ryan
some.
Leonard, and yeah, he was right up there with those guys and generating a lot of offense. So I think he's
Yeah,
just cut from different cloths. So for right now, that's my answer. But don't be surprised if my answer would change in another year or two when Perot has some time to kind of develop a little bit, if the Rangers are even capable of doing that. So that's my answer.
I love it, and I think for the sake of the pod and for the sake of better podcasting, I should probably disagree with you, but I think I'm right there with you. When I look at it, and it hurts me to, and that's why it's the reality is it's a play scenario, and I'm not Drury. I don't have to make these decisions. But with Offman, I just haven't seen it, and he's had his injury issues, and there's been kind of things that maybe were his fault, maybe weren't his fault, that kind of worked against him. And yeah, like Stefan highlighted, just he's had a cup of coffee at this point, and just no points, no real contributions. I don't really even see him standing out. Like I hear that he's chippy. I don't really see that in the NHL. I don't really see a lot of that. So I'd like to see more from him. But right now, if I had to cut someone, it's him. And I'm with you on the Gabe Perreault and Berard. I think Berard is more ready right now because he can, despite his size, he can play that third, fourth line grinder role. Where Gabe, you kind of like my version of bench with Gabe is basically AHL. I think unless Gabe just blows the doors off of people in training camp, he has to go to the AHL and get some seasoning. You see other teams do this approach. A guy spends a year or two in the AHL, comes up and kills it. Unless he's Austin Matthews, which I don't get the feeling he is. He doesn't have the size. He doesn't have that kind of like innate drive. It's kind of he's a cerebral player.
He's young. He's a kid.
He's a kid. He needs to grow into his body. He needs to come into kind of his frame and his game. So yeah, I'm right there with you on this. I would start Berard. He's more game ready right now. What the team needs. But keep your eye on Gabe Perot because he's coming.
Do you know anything about when they're going to do the annual rookie game against the Flyers?
It was announced, and if you give me 1 second, I will look.
Yeah, because last year I really, really enjoyed watching that game, and apparently every year the Rangers and the Flyers rookie teams match off. So he's looking it up right now. Let's see, they announced it, and the 13th of what month?
Oh, hold on. This might be against. They might be doing it against a couple
I
teams
just
here.
saw it somewhere on there.
All right,
Something
yeah.
13th.
The Flyers announced today the dates for their
Oh, the 12th.
2025 Rookie Series pair of games against the Rangers.
Ooh, pair.
So yeah, the series will take place. The first one will be September 12th at 7:05 p.m. That's a Friday. The next day, Saturday, September 13th, 5:05 p.m. Both of these are at the PPL Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Allentown's a cool little city. You never expect it, but a pretty good metal and punk scene out there too
Nice.
in the Lehigh Valley.
So now we all have something to look forward to before the season starts. It's a little bit of more hockey to just to to fulfill the itch, to
Yeah.
scratch the itch.
Yeah, we're getting there, and Stefan's not a football fan, but for us football fans, that kinda helps. I always say when football's starting to heat up, hockey's right around the corner. So that's kinda keeping me going. But, yeah, we got roughly 2 months before anything really significant is going on with hockey, so keep enjoying your summer, keep enjoying each other, be good to each other, and, I really don't have much else, to you.
Nope, that's gonna do it, guys. So, be expecting another episode in 2 or 3 weeks, depending on what's going on with our schedules.
Let's call it 2 weeks. Let's try for 2 weeks. We'll see what
We'll make it
happens.
tentatively for 2 weeks.
Pencil it
We'll
in.
we'll tentatively schedule it for 2 weeks, but um, yeah, I have nothing else. So forever hold your peace.
Till next time.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.